1, 2, 3, looking at me.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi, sorry.
Hi, Carlos. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Taylor. It's lovely to see you today.
Hi, Mrs. Taylor.
Hi, Emily.
Hi.
Are you all doing good today?
Yep.
Yeah, doing really cool.
Yeah, fine.
Okay. Before we begin, I just want to let you know that today I'm looking for whole body listening, which means you're sitting up as straight as you can, nice and still if your body lets you, and I want to see your eyes on me. Can anyone tell me what I said about the whole body listening?
Yes, I can.
Nina? Yes?
Eyes on you and listening with the whole body and staying still.
Perfect. That's absolutely perfect. All right.
If your
very
body
good.
lets you. If your body lets you.
If
So
your
if I need to
if your
shake
body
around.
lets you. That's right, Carlos, and I'm happy for you to move a little bit if you need to, but the key is that I want to see your eyes on me so I know that you're listening, because that tells me your whole body is listening, okay? All right, today we're doing some maths, and we're actually going to talk about something I think you may already know about. It's called symmetry. Can anybody tell me what symmetry might be? And I'm holding up a picture to jog your memory. Carlos?
Yeah, symmetry is when it's like the same. Two sides are the same.
Absolutely perfect. I love that description. Thank you. So you can see on my two trees that I've got here. Can Jayla, would you like to read down the bottom and tell me what these two words say?
Symmetric and asymmetric.
Yeah, perfect. So often we'll say symmetric and asymmetric. So what that means is for symmetry, we're looking for two sides that are absolutely identical, either side of this line that comes down the middle. And on the asymmetric, you can see it doesn't quite match the side we have here. So that's why it's called asymmetric. Okay. And so we're going to talk about that today, but I know that you probably would have already talked about symmetry before, like with shapes, with triangles and squares and things like that. But the symmetry that we're going to look at is in nature. Okay. And so the key, as you rightly said, Carlos, is that are you right there, Jayla? Did you want to say something or are you just stretching?
No, it's just stretching.
Okay, no problem. That both sides need to be the same. So if you can imagine all the things in nature. So what's nature? Will, what kind of things belong to nature?
Like trees and grass.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So yeah, yep, you're absolutely right. So we're not going to look for just like squares and circles and put our imaginary line halfway through to make sure they match. We are thinking about things in nature. And so I'm going to show you another picture to give you an example of some of the things where we can draw a line down the middle and they're exactly the same. So Emily, can you see here the butterfly in the middle?
I wouldn't want to cut a butterfly in half. That's mean.
Absolutely right, Mina. We would not want to cut a butterfly in half. That's why it's called an imaginary line.
That was me, sorry.
Oh, sorry, Jayla. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, so you can see on my butterfly, it's exactly the same on this side as it is on this side. And this one, I don't really like here. Emily, can you see what this one is?
That's a grass spider.
It is a spider.
No,
well,
cool.
Spiders scare me, but they are very cool because they do some really clever things. But as you can see, Mr. Spider here is actually very symmetrical because he looks identical on this side as he does on this side, okay? But something really easy, yes, Jayla?
Does that mean humans are symmetrical?
Well, they can be. They're not always symmetrical, but yes, their main shape is symmetrical as well. So that's a really, really good question. Because if I was to break my nose, hang on, Mina, I'll come to you in just a moment. If I was to break my nose, then I wouldn't be very symmetrical anymore, would I? Because most of my nose would be squished over to the other side. So as a general rule,
Yeah.
on the outside, we are quite symmetrical. Yes, Mina, what was your question?
One of my eyebrows is higher than the other one.
Yes, that can happen. That can definitely happen.
Also, you're asymmetrical.
Yep, so if you had an eyebrow...
You're asymmetrical too, Carlos.
No, I'm perfectly symmetrical.
Well, it can also depend on your hairstyle, because if I have all my hair pushed to one side like you, Carlos, then I'm not symmetrical anymore, am I? Because a lot of my hair would be on one side. But if I was split down the middle, it would be exactly the same. And so you can see here our leaf is absolutely the same on both sides, and that's what makes it symmetrical.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you another picture, and this is really interesting, that our insects are what we call bilateral symmetry, which means you split them right down the middle, not in real life, Jayla, don't worry, just with our imaginary line, okay? And then they are exactly the same on either side.
Wow.
Any of you know where you might find some of these insects? I've got bees in my garden at home. They like my flowers. Carlos?
Yeah, you could find bees in the garden, but like that big bug is probably like from like the Amazon or somewhere like far away.
Yeah, possibly.
I've never seen something that big.
Well, I can see you being very patient with your hand up. Have you got a question?
No, I was just saying you can find butterflies outside.
You can find butterflies outside, absolutely. Has anyone ever been to the zoo?
Yeah, lots of times.
Yes, I have. I've been to Melbourne Zoo and a different one as well.
You've been to Melbourne Zoo, so have I.
Yep.
And have you been in the butterfly house at Melbourne Zoo?
Yes, it's very hot in there.
It's very hot in there. Yep, very hot and sweaty, but the butterflies are absolutely beautiful, aren't they? So these are all kinds of examples, these insects here, they're examples of symmetry in nature and symmetry in the environment. So if you were to go outside your classroom right now, Emily, what kind of insect do you think you might have outside the classroom at school today?
Well, maybe butterflies and bees and what's that one? A ladybug?
A ladybug. Oh, beautiful. I love ladybugs. They're some of my favorite. But let me show you, symmetry is not just in insects. We can also find symmetry in other areas of nature. Can you see here the honeycomb that the bees make?
Yes.
Okay, so they're all
Wow.
symmetrical too. They're hexagons, but let's draw an imaginary line with our finger. If we were to go down here, it's exactly the same side on this side as it is the other side. Yes, Carlos?
How do they do that? How do the bees do that?
How do bees do that? Well, they're actually really, really clever, aren't they? They instinctively do it, and they do it just automatically. That is the shape they need and use in their hive. So they use this shape to store the larvae for the bees to grow, but they also store this shape for the honey to lock it into the cells with the wax. Now, I've also got a flower here. It's a bit hard to see because it's black and white, but can you see this lovely spiral pattern and all the little sunflower seeds inside the sunflower? Okay.
Yeah.
And Again, quite symmetrical. If we were to draw a line through that, it would be symmetrical. But some things, even though they might
I like
look
flowers.
You like flowers? I love flowers too, actually. I want to show you what's
Yeah.
not symmetrical, because in our next activity, you're actually going to go outside and find some symmetry in nature with the iPads. So I want to give you some examples of things that aren't symmetrical.
Cool.
Can you see this tree here?
Yeah.
And can anybody tell me why this wouldn't be symmetrical? Will?
Because if you split it in half, it's not the same either side.
Oh, that is a really lovely answer. Thank you. And Carlos, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing.
Beautiful. Well done. Absolutely fabulous answers there. Okay, Emily, can I get you to look up, because that's going to show me that you're actually listening to me today. Thank you, because I am looking for some really good whole body listening, and I really love that I've had lots of people put their hands up, even though I actually didn't tell you to put your hand up. I forgot. So well done, Carlos. Yes.
If you listen with your ears, then why do we need eyes at the front? Because ears are the listening thing.
That's correct. But if you're looking down, I actually don't know if you're listening, but if you look at me with your eyes, that gives me a clue that you're probably listening to what I say. But if you've got your head down and you're writing, I actually don't know. So I need that little extra help with your eyes. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you two more examples of things that are not symmetrical. All right. Here we have a pine cone. When we look at the pine cone, it looks like it might be symmetrical, but does anyone know why this might not be symmetrical? Jayla?
Well, isn't it like the same thing? Like if you split it in half?
You're exactly right. So you see these little pine cone nodules, they're different the whole way around. So it may look like it could be symmetrical, but it's probably not going to be, because one of these nodules is higher than the other one over here and things like that. And we also have, this is a really dark picture, so I'll try my best to show you. It's a spider web. And you can see that we might think it's symmetrical because it sort of goes around and around, and we think, oh yeah.
Spider webs on my face when I walk into them.
So do I.
Yeah, that's like the worst, right?
It is all very sticky, isn't it? And then I feel really bad because I've ruined a spider's home.
Yeah, it's really gross.
But you can see if we look really closely that it's all different on each side. So it's actually not symmetrical, even though it looks like it could be. So in our next activity, we're going to go outside, we're going to take our iPads, and we're going to look for our very own symmetrical things and take a photo of them on the iPad. And then once we've done that, we're going to bring it back to the classroom, and I'll give you an opportunity to even draw your symmetry onto some paper so that we can have a look at all the wonderful things that we've found in nature. Does anyone want to quickly have a guess at some things they might take photos of when they're outside? Jayla?
Like leaves?
Leaves are a perfect example of what you might use. Mina, have you got any ideas?
I feel like everything outside would be asymmetrical.
That is very possible. That is very possible. So it's going to be really hard for us and tricky. Will, have you got any ideas of what you might like to try and find that could be symmetrical?
A bug.
A bug. Excellent. Because we know that insects have bilateral symmetry. Emily?
Yeah.
Just letting you know that the bell for lunch is just went.
Okay, thank you everyone. Enjoy your lunch and simulation.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for participating. Well done.
Thanks.
So a couple of questions here for you,
Sure.
Kate. What do you feel you did well in that simulation?
Having some good examples to show the children, to sort of give them a concrete example, to keep them engaged. I know it's a simulation, but they seemed to hold the engagement for me.
Okay, great. And is there anything you might do differently if you had another chance?
Perhaps maybe sort of have a few written examples for myself of some things that the children could find outside. When I asked Mina, she didn't seem to have much idea because she felt everything outside would be asymmetrical, and then I suddenly was scrambling to think of what examples other than leaves and bugs I could give her of symmetrical things in nature.
Okay, great feedback. Well, what's going to happen now is you'll